Welcome to a new edition of the Authentic Leadership Roadshow. I am your host, Helena Demuynck, a transformational leadership coach for women leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs. I started this Authentic Leadership Roadshow because a lot of my coaching clients told me that she did not really found a role model, somebody that was inspiring and giving them, courage in order to go with the struggles that they encountered in their professional life. And I thought that is not possible because there's so many amazing women in the world that have an authentic story to share and that want to share what they struggled with, but also what successes they had to celebrate. And that can be an inspiration for you as a future woman leader or as a woman leader. And today I am thrilled to have with me a new guest, and this is Wandalyn. Wandalyn is a very international and experienced leader, and she's here to share her story with us. And I am so curious to find out what she has to tell us. So Wandalyn, welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here.
Thank you so much, Helena. It's an honor to be here with you. You know, while you're talking about the lack of role models, I've been there myself. So I'm very excited to share whatever I know to help these women understand, that there are role models out there and there are real people, where they can learn from. I hope to be of help today.
Absolutely. But maybe you can start, Wandalyn, with a short introduction. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, where you are now, what you do.
Okay, my name is Wandalyn Tan-Calupig. I actually am from the Philippines, but have been here in Dubai for over 14 years now. I used to be audit manager for Emirates Airlines here in Dubai. At the peak of my career, I've always loved my job. But when you became a mother, I think their priorities change. And at some point in time, I was always sick. I was always stressed. And I didn't know that it was burnout already. And when my children started to become sick, it became so much of a hassle for me. So I started to learn more of what's the best way for us to heal. And in the process of doing that, I came across neuro-linguistic programming, which now led me to training and coaching. So I can there's so many stories to
unpack. That's a long story short.
That's a long story, but fast forward to today, I actually have built my own passion-based business. I'm in the mission of positively changing lives because I want to help more executives and professionals beat burnout.
Awesome. So we are on the same track and your focus is on burnout.
True.
Awesome. But let's rewind a little bit, Wandalyn, and go back to, let's say, the first 10, 15 years of your career, where you were probably like a lot of us, building that career and doing the things that you were supposed to do to move on the ladder and to get promoted and to get more responsibility. So why? What was your motivation to build that career in audit with Emirates?
I came actually from a single parent family because when I was young, my dad died when I was 9. I was
so
young.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, I was the youngest, but it was very difficult. I mean, I cannot explain how our life shifted 360 degrees when my dad died because my mom was a housewife. So it was very tough. And then through college, I actually had to study and take up accountancy at the same time. And I really made a promise to myself because I've seen how my mom suffered. I said, I'm going to take my family out of poverty. And, I started my career actually as an auditor for Ernst & Young Manila. So I was in taxation then. Then after that, I went to Intel where I managed individual and corporate taxation for the 5 companies of Intel. Everything was good. I love my job at Intel too. But I took a housing loan because we were renting out a house for like 20 plus years. And I really want to give that gift to my mom that, she deserves to have a house, right? So I took a housing loan, but, I realized it will took me 15 years to pay that loan. And I was buried in debt. After having no money for a lot of years, and then I started to earn money, I started to have these debts in terms of credit card debts and housing loan. So I said, I think I need to work overseas so I can pay off these loans because I don't want to end my life, just paying off. And that landed me an opportunity in Dubai because I reached out to my friend. I just sent her a message to ask, is there an opportunity for me? So I sent my CV, and one day I got a call from Emirates inviting me for an interview in Dubai. And that started my journey to to Dubai. So it's really about taking my family out of poverty. That was the core reason for me.
Wow, that is a very beautiful and generous motivation. But still, to leave your family and your friends and everything behind to go to Dubai, what were your resources? What were your strengths that you could build upon in order to do that, to just, take the plane and go to a place that you did not know at all?
See, it was really very difficult in the beginning, Helena. Actually, when I came in, the second day, I think I felt like I want to resign already and leave home. I mean, I want to go back home the second day because I don't know how to cook. I only have one friend here who was with me. It was a culture shock for me because it was a very different environment. It was a new job as well because I was in taxation. Now I'm handling internal auditing in an airline. So there are many changes that during those days of my life that I just wanted to give up. But I always go back to my core and my why. So, why do I do what? When I find it difficult, I go back and write down in the paper. I just put all my worries in a paper. And then I always pray and ask, God, just help me get through whatever challenges come my way. And fast forward, I've survived 14 years.
Well, not only that, you did not only survive, but you also overcame your struggles and you built out a successful next path. The question I have is, a lot of women, when they are evaluating their career and career opportunities, especially when they are evaluating a new job or a promotion, what I often hear is, I don't know if I should apply for this job. I'm really reluctant to go for that promotion because if I look at the things I did, my responsibilities, my areas of expertise, and I look at the job spec, I don't have 100% match. And we start working on why they should not have 100% match in order to go for that job. Yeah. But what you are telling me now is that you had maybe a 20% match because it was a new industry, it was a new role, it was a new culture. You didn't know anybody there that could, mentor you, at least not at the first and in the beginning. So what were you thinking? Tell me, please, what were you thinking that made you do that?
I think,
It's amazing.
Yeah, if I reflect back, I was thinking, how did I ever do that? I think, what is always helps me through is the clarity of my why. And I always have this mantra, God will make all things possible for me. So I know I don't know airline, I don't know internal auditing, but I'm always willing to learn. That's the other thing for me. And when I came, nobody was teaching me because, in some cultures, they believe if they teach you, you're gonna be smarter than them. So I was really what am I gonna do here? So I really did everything I could to learn everything. I mean, I even when I was bored, I'm memorizing those airport codes, the country codes. I really understand the airline from A to Z, the revenue, everything I learned so that, I don't need anybody's help and I will learn on my own. And then when people start to see that I know something and then they can get something from me, I can help them, right? So because I help them, they are willing to help me now. So it became at some point, I became a repository of learning just because I know what I'm doing. And a lot of people are now sharing what they know. So I've become
Awesome.
I've become the catalyst. I mean, a lot of, there will always be cultural differences. People don't see eye to eye, and that's normal in any environment. But I think I was never a threat to anybody because I never present myself as a threat also. I'm only here to learn and to give value. So when people see me like that, people started helping me. And then, it helped me throughout my career because people see that I'm a team player. I'm never a threat to anybody.
Okay. Now I have some questions about that because first of all, if you want to learn, the information is not always available in an organization as such. I mean, it is not always documented. So was there nobody helping you, nobody training you in the department? Did you really have to find out everything on your own?
It's
Were
not
they
really.
ways also to access resources in the organization?
Okay, Helena, I think I'll put it this way. There are trainings also. But sometimes, like if I'm an expert in revenue accounting, I might not be, I might not be keen to share it with you because you're gonna be smarter than me. I mean, there is some dilemma sometimes like that. So not they will share, but to a limited knowledge, right? But I mean, I got people who's helping me, but I'm always very curious. So even if you don't teach me this, I will ask. If you will not teach me, I will go to another person who can teach me. I'm that level of, learner who's really, want to learn more and very curious. So there are people who will train you, but you have to keep on asking because Helena, that's the thing that you need to be hungry for learning. Because if not, nobody in career, what I learned is that nobody will take care of your career except you. I mean, people will not come and say, do you want to learn something from me, Mona? It will never happen. You need to go forward and ask, can you help me? Can you teach me? And that is where I think I was able to progress in my career because I was always willing to ask. And I was always willing to be a person of zero learning. I'm always like that.
Okay, that's a very good takeaway. Nobody else is going to take care about your career but you. That's a very good one. I have another question because you were in internal audit. You came from accounting and tax, which is basically something that you do. I'm going to exaggerate now.
Okay,
which is basically something that you do behind your screen. You do not have to meet a lot of people. You do not have to interact a lot in order to be a good accountant. Now, if you are going to internal audit, it's a different story because at a certain level, you start interacting with people. More people sometimes see you as a controller, as the one that is coming there to check if they had been doing something the wrong way, if they had been not following processes or procedures or whatever. So in terms of interaction, in terms of leadership, in terms of communication, you also had to grow a lot, probably. Am I right?
Definitely. I mean, changing jobs was different. I mean, at least for Intel, I'm blessed to have the opportunity. Although I'm in taxation, I was dealing with a lot of senior managers because, I have to get their buy-in for new processes with regards to taxation, registration, compliance. So at least from an exposure perspective to leaders, I already know how to manage. But I think when I went to internal auditing, it was a shift in role because this time I'm not the business partner implementing rules. I am the one who's checking compliance. People are afraid of me because they're like, Wanda's gonna make it difficult for me or I'm gonna make highlight. But I always come to my clients, even to up to this date, my clients are my best friends. They will say I'm the best auditor there is because see, I always say that I am here. It's the same company either way. I am here to help them understand what's working well. What can we do better? And I am there to listen. And at the end of the day, internal audit may be seen as a police, but really that's our role. I mean, we are here to help the organization improve performance, productivity, and profits by giving a different perspective, right? And seeing the root cause of any problem. And I think just because I always come with a very friendly attitude all the time, then people appreciate that. And they never see me as a threat also. They see me as a business partner working together to help the company thrive.
Okay. What is interesting, Wanda, is it could be a thin line in terms of what you are telling is, I would say very low in ego, while you were in a culture, not only in terms of organization, but also in terms of the country you were working in, that is pretty masculine. Okay. So if you are coming there as a very friendly, non-threatening and servicing, partner for your audit clients, your internal clients, what did you do in order not to run over you? Because this is also something that a lot of women tell me. I find it very hard to stay authentic and to keep my feminine energy and my feminine strengths in a leadership role. What you are telling me now is that you fully use your feminine leadership qualities and strengths in your relationship with your internal clients as an internal auditor. So what made that you were standing there in your strengths and not being pushed away or, turned around because you were like too friendly or too soft?
So let me explain that further. I learned that my feminine skills actually work. In the beginning, it wasn't. I remember a manager will always push me because he's a guy. He said, Wanda, be strong, talk loud, you should fight with the clients, blah, blah, blah. I will listen to him, but I will always manage my way because I found it's working. And what I learned in leadership is that first, you need to be the leader who needs to listen, because I can be the best auditor, but if people do not listen to me, they do not implement my recommendations, they do not agree, it doesn't make sense. But because my clients have become my friends and they do not see me as a threat, I can get the data I need, they can share, we can work things together. At the end of the day, they're happy to work with me. And if I reflect now, I think people will see it as a weakness, but I see my feminine side is actually a core strength. Our SVP calls me the smiling assassin because I will be smiling in meetings. Yes, I'll be smiling during audit reviews. But when I produce my report, there is quality. And whatever I said gets implemented because that way, because I was able to build that relationship. I think that it's a trust, right? Every relationship needs to be built on trust. So you need to work on that.
Exactly. That's very, very interesting. I was thinking the same. If you can build a trustful relationship, not only in a relationship between an internal auditor and their internal clients, but with your team, with your stakeholders in general, then there's a lot that you can do. And what I hear you say is, in building trust, there are 4 elements. And the first one, of course, is ability, that you have the expertise, that you know what you do. But also there is the believability, which is that you are authentic and you are integer and you do what you say and you say what you do. And then the third one is the connection, that you really build a relationship and a connection with your client or with your stakeholder, depending on what situation you are in. And the last one is dependability, where people know that you are reliable, that what you produce is reliable. And so basically this is what we call the ABCD of trust. It's a Covey concept, but I hear you talk about all these elements about building trust, and in that trust, keeping your feminine leadership strengths and skills. And I think that is really amazing. That is very, very powerful. As you say, it is not weakness, but it is adapting your style in order to achieve your goals. Because sometimes people do not understand that it is not about the ego and it is not about being right. It is about what are our common goals. And you mentioned it. We are there both to service the company, to make sure the organization goes well. And there are policies and procedures that need to be followed in terms of, security and a lot of other things. And I think you are a very good example of how to keep into that femininity and build a trust and be very powerful, but in the positive way, in terms of achieving goals and achieving the best for the company and for all stakeholders involved. That's amazing as a story. Yeah, thank you for sharing that also. Yeah. And then if we fast forward a little bit, Wanda, because you were telling at a certain moment you start to be sick, even your children started to get sick at a certain moment. So what was happening? What was going on?
So Helena, before I share that burnout journey of what happened to me and my children being sick, I think I just want to rewind a bit in terms of my promotion to audit manager. Because, I know a lot of women don't get promoted. I wasn't promoted. I felt my promotion was delayed because a lot of my batchmates and colleagues were getting promoted and I'm not. And I know I'm ready. I know I'm able. So I actually asked my manager that question: what do I need to do to be the next manager to get promoted? And actually what he told me was very shocking. He said, I never thought you wanted a promotion because you have children. And after that, I said, no, I want it. And after a few months, I actually got promoted. And I think what I learned from this experience, we need to keep on asking the right questions so we can land whatever we want. And, when I became a manager and when my kids are starting to get bigger, there are more responsibilities at work and at home. And at some point, I have less sleep, I have more work, and there's so much stress, that makes me sick. And I never knew that the sickness that I have and the stress that I have, I'm passing it to my children. Because first, I don't know how to manage myself. And second, my children have their own stress that I don't know how to manage. So we used to spend weekends on hospitals. We used to spend weekends on clinic. And I just got tired of being sick, And one day I just said, I need to know and I need to find a solution for us. And I think other than the sickness, there was also emptiness and unhappiness, Helena. I mean, I know this audit manager role in Emirates, my life in Dubai is the dream life I've always wanted. But at some point, I had some emptiness and unhappiness that I actually am feeling, but I was denying it because at the core of my mind, I was like, I have no right to feel this feeling because I have everything I've always wanted. And I was so scared to share because I know a lot of my family and friends will say, who are you to even complain, right? When you have everything that you've wanted. So, but at some point it becomes unbearable. And I think my sickness itself is a manifestation of that unhappiness and emptiness. And one day my husband...
It was your body telling you what you didn't want to hear from your heart.
Exactly. It was my body who was giving me that wake-up call that Wanda, listen to your heart, right? And I remember I was retail shopping. There was emptiness that I channeled through many things, retail shopping or whatever. And I remember my husband asked me one question one night. He asked, are we okay? And I actually thankfully had the courage to say, we are okay. I am not. So let me find myself. So that started my journey to personal development in terms of looking for ways to heal myself, to heal my children, and to really find what am I here meant to do. And that led me to so many things. That's why I was like, I didn't even know it was burnout. So that's why I really made it a mission for myself to help others understand what burnout is and help others understand how can you overcome it, because it might be difficult, but it's also life-changing.
I can only imagine, Wanda. So once you found out for yourself what you really wanted in life, what were the toughest decisions that you had to make? Because you were still that audit manager at Emirates, I guess.
Yeah. One of the toughest decisions is leaving my audit manager job. I mean, I remember when I started volunteering, I did this training and coaching because when I learned about this neuro-linguistic programming that helped me heal, I started to share to others, and my students that time, they rank even in board examinations, top 2 out of 4,000 plus examiners. They got promoted. They got their, whatever goal they have in life, they achieve. So I was like, oh, this is something I like to do because it was so rewarding. So Helena, I had so much guilt. I mean, yes, I have the audit manager job, right? But I also learned no additional zeros in my salary can pay for the mom's guilt. There are times I had to leave my eldest child here in Dubai because I have to travel for work, for audit, and I have to bring the small one because I'm still feeding her. So when I came back to Dubai after 10 days, of being away, my eldest daughter asked me this question: do you love me less, mommy? And I cannot understand why she said that. But then I asked her why, and she said, you left me here. And I was thinking I never had the intention to make her feel that way. And I felt so bad as a mother, and I decided that one day, I want to leave my job so I can take care of my two young children. And I think, making that decision to leave my audit manager job, to leave that 16 plus year career I've built for years. I mean, when I was audit manager for EK, we were only like maybe 10 people out of 5,000 plus Filipinos in the company who's at the top. And a lot of them are in Manila. I mean, but head office maybe were 3 or 4. So it was a very difficult decision for me because first my husband said, you want to leave your job, but maybe park it because the kids are young. And, also a lot of my friends are saying, are you crazy for wanting to live this career and this life that you have now? So Helena, I know it, only I know what's best for me because I reviewed my values as a human being. My top core value is family, love, and service. And I love my job. But, I'm not giving that time and attention that my small children needs. So regardless of what my husband said, that, just sparked my dream of becoming a housewife, regardless of my friends saying I'm crazy for wanting to leave my job, I actually planned it. I went and have a discussion with the head of our department and asked, can I work part-time so I can have more time with my children? And he agreed. He said, it's better to have you here somehow than losing you at all. So that was a very good deal. I had it planned, but something magically happened because my husband got relocated in Malaysia because, his company was downsizing in Dubai. And that relocation paved the way for me to become a housewife.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. What I like to hear, or what I like hearing, Wanda, is that you made your decisions based on your values. And we all know that our values might shift depending on shifting situations in our lives. So when you become a mother or when something else that is very important happens in your life, your values can change or can change in priority. And it is very important to see that, you can change also your decisions and your life based on changed values. And also what I love there is that you consider that stage or that event as like one part in a long career. I see a lot of women who are very, very afraid to calm down a little bit while they have children because they think they have to be hyper performant at all levels. But if we look at top athletes, I mean, when they are at the top of their career, they don't have children. They plan in a different way. So somebody said, I don't remember who this quote came from, but somebody said, yes, we can have it all, but not all at the same time. And it is okay to step back a little bit in order to find our harmony. And then from there, do what we like to do, find passion in what we are focusing on at that moment. Because at any time, we can choose for a different direction again. We can choose for a corporate career again. We can choose for entrepreneurship at any time. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that because, after actually taking a break, Helena, I thought actually housewife was for me. But after 16 years, I realized it's not for me either. I mean, I was at home for 3 months and I felt like there's something called work burnout, for housewives. And I think I've been there because in my mind, I was like physically tired because of the housework. I mean, I've never experienced it. I really wanted to, but I realized I don't like it at all. I mean, there's so much that, wives need to do at home, the house chores, the childcare. Oh my God, it's too much. And then I told my husband, I think I'm ready to work again. So that is when I reached out to my former manager and asked him, can I work part-time? So that way they took me as a consultant. So that actually helped me because it doubled my income and time off. I mean, I still have my children. I also get to double my income because if they pay another third party, like big corporate firms, they're still very expensive compared to me, right? But compared to my previous salary, it's like I'm earning the same salary every month, but half of the days that I'm working. So it was a win-win for me. And then when I also had, at some point, I had to go back to corporate because I actually started my business after becoming a consultant. I also started my training and coaching business in the Philippines, but some tragedy happened. There was an earthquake, an attempted robbery. It happened the same day, and we had to go back to Dubai. For our children's safety, my husband and I decided to go back. When we came back in 2019, a lot of my friends say, Wanda, there's no job opening. It's very difficult for you to come back. Even Emirates was on freeze hiring, so I cannot. But I also, made a bet and I surrendered. I said, God, if we are meant to come back here, show me the way. And I actually landed a job in 8 days in 2019, despite all odds. And despite having that career, I was just freelancing during those 2.5 years. And I think this is a story I also want to tell people that, even if you just step back on your career, it will, if you want to come back, it will always be there for you because you're still the same person who knows the same thing. You actually grew when you become a mother. There's so much skills that you learn from negotiation to leadership, communication. It has taught me so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, become the person I am today. So I want to help people understand it's okay to take a career pause because from here I learned my children younger years, I can never return it. And I'm very blessed to make the choice. But I can always reinvent my career and, do whatever I wanted. So
absolutely.
That's what I learned.
Yeah. Well, what I feel in your story, Wanda, is a strong confidence in yourself and in your strengths, but also a confidence in life and in opportunities. And I do believe with that mindset, with this mindset of abundance, like, okay, things will happen. I think that you attract those things. I think that you create this energy and this spirit that you just attract these things on your path. And I think it is a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. What I would like to know is, if you look back at where you are, what you have been doing, because I know that you still have a lot of other things to do, and I would love to talk again with you in a couple of years and see what you have been doing since. I can only imagine it will be amazing. So what are your major learnings? What are the things, the insights that you would like to share with the audience based on what you have been experiencing until now in terms of finding your path, both privately and professionally? If you would say my top 3 learnings are, what would they be?
I think my top 3 learnings in life is that, if you want to accomplish something, nothing and no one can stop you except you. At some point in time, I thought, a lot of people are factors to my success, but I learned if I take 100% responsibility of my life, everything becomes possible. Second, also, I think I learned from this experience, I can make a lot of plans, but God always have better plans. Like, I know I've planned to work part-time, just do my business all the while, but I had to leave, then I have to restart and stop my business. But I think, when God says no, then means next opportunity. Just keep on moving on because it means bigger and better things are coming for you. And I think what I also learned third is our pains have a purpose, Helena. The pains in our body, the pains that we feel in our heart, it is telling us to do something. You have to listen to it and, understand what it is telling you to do, because it's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing the next right thing. Because I used to be like an overthinker, a planner, but now I've learned to surrender just to do the next right thing. And it's unfolding better than I've imagined and I've planned.
Awesome. I can tell that you also have learned to accept what is. Not in terms that you surrender and do nothing, but that you can accept, and from that calm place of acceptance, define what you want to do next. And I think that is a very, very strong leadership skill. And I really want to thank you, Wanda, for your sharings. I think this is a wonderful story and it is absolutely not ended. And I'm very sure it is inspirational for a lot of women that also have these questions and conflicting values between family and professional life. who not always see that everything is a phase, and at any time you can change it if you want something else, and who sometimes need to be remembered that if we have our why, if we have our purpose and our values, that those are our compasses for our decisions and our choices. And I really want to thank you for sharing this with us and pointing these things out once again, because they are the most important things in life. So thank you so much. And for the audience, if you want to connect with Wanda, I will make sure that her contact information is below the video. So if you want to reach out to her, if you want to, find out more about what she is offering in terms of training, what she is offering in terms of all her expertise to be on LinkedIn, or if you want to share things about maybe burnout questions you have, then just get in touch with her. Get in touch with me also if you have questions about leadership, or if you want to be on this seat and share your own story as an inspiration and encouragement for other women leaders, then you are very welcome to join me on the Authentic Leadership Roadshow. So that was it for this session. Thank you so much, Wanda, and thank you so much for the audience to stay here with us and to listen, and hopefully have all the information just landing, not only in your brain, but also in your heart, and make that connection. Namaste.
Thank you, Helena.